It's not about the monetary aspect.
Yeah,
I
something to do
wanted
with it,
to,
then there's nothing wrong with that.
but hear me
Let's do
out.
something.
No, hear
When you
me
talk to me,
out.
look, don't worry about the things you tell me. I understand those things.
Fabrice said, "I don't want to hear that." Okay, we know it's about the money. All right, sis. All right, don't try to play me. It's about the money. Okay, you want someone who sold a business and finished. It's about the comfortable lifestyle, baby. I heard about the shoes and I heard about the fact you want to be spoiled. It's about the money. Don't pretend with me. But the reality is, I want to talk about something really important here, which is that everybody needs to be seen and heard. Irrespective of who you are, what you're about, everybody wants to be seen and they want to be heard. And this is really important in any particular relationship. And what you saw with Fabrice and Corvaya was him shutting her down and actually not listening to her, not hearing her, and not seeing her. And you know what? It's so interesting because he thought he already knew her. He presumed presumptuously that he already knew her, which is actually insulting because this person has a whole entire life that they've lived. And even if you've heard a similar story, even if you've seen a similar archetype, you've never seen me. I'm different to everybody else. So I want to be seen and I want to be heard. And Conveyor felt shut down in that moment. Whether you agree or disagree with her doesn't make a difference. In that moment, I understood where she was coming from. I want to be seen and I want to be heard. And I made a point, but I wanted to explain it so that I could make you understand my thought process and where I'm coming from. And Fabrice wasn't interested, and it made it look like you just don't really care about what I thought and what I feel. And that is a problem. And so we're going to talk a little bit about that as well, so that you don't make the same mistake in dating. We don't want to see you, nullify somebody and not let somebody feel like, do you know what? They're important and they're seen and they're heard as well. So make sure you like, you share, you subscribe, you click on that bell button for notification of the up, lows. And for those of you who are returnees, already know what it is, baby. You got the minerals. You got the minerals. Stay hydrated because the streets out there are hot. Let's get into the video. Let's talk a little bit about this, right? So you can see here Kaveer's face already. Look.
If I looked like you, I'd be exactly like you. Believe me. So what do you like to do for fun?
Man shut the whole conversation down. She was explaining why she wanted to have that business situation. And he said, well, if I look like you, I would behave the exact same way like you. It's actually quite insulting. Why are you talking over me? Number one. Number two, why are you telling me how I think? Number three, this is not a good indication for a relationship in the future. Give me space to grow in your eyes. Give me space to be able to paint a picture in your eyes. Give me room to be able to tell my story. But what you're really telling me when you cut me off and tell me that, you know what, I've seen it already and I used to have a girlfriend like you, is that you don't think I'm original. And I am original, whether you've heard it before or not, whether you've seen it already before, whether you know someone similar to me, it doesn't make a difference. I am an original. I am unique. The fingerprints aren't the same as myself and the other person that you're talking about or others you may have come across. So give me that respect. He didn't do that. And I want you to understand, if you're going to be dating someone, man or woman in this situation, but let's focus on the men, please don't presume you know the person. Don't guesswork. Let me tell you something. If you feel like you know the person, whenever you speak, the person will be like, oh my God, that's just like me. They will say that to you. You don't need to shut the conversation down, right? It's if there's similarities between the two, you anybody's had this situation before. If you've had this before where you've dated someone or liked somebody and you've spoken to them, it's like, that's just like me. Oh my God, like that's just like me. Oh my God, you do that as well? I do that. And you had that really lovely moment where you both are like, oh my God, that's you know what I mean? But don't rob the person of that opportunity to have that moment of chemistry, that moment of realization that we're quite similar, that moment of where we can both see that actually we have things in common. You wanted to get to your own agenda. That's what it felt like.
I love to motivate people and inspire people on social media.
You're so young. So actually, one of my first loves was actually...
Now, the thing was edited, so I don't know if he actually said that you're so young to that actual comment, because it cuts and then he starts speaking. So I don't know if he actually said that to her comment. It might, but still, even regardless or not, he'd said you're so young, right? So that again, when you're older gentlemen, that you're so young would be the equivalent of her saying you're so old. That would be so rude. Like, it's rude. Like, I don't forget the sex talk that he brings to the table. It's rude. The words that you say can make someone feel unseen and unheard in that moment. And you're making the person feel like they don't even need to be there. You're almost belittling the person. You're sounding very arrogant and very pompous and sounding very up yourself. you're now telling the person that you're so young and you're trying to date them. So if they're so young, why are you trying to date them? Stop that talk right there. Of course, you may be to say, listen, hey, we have different experiences in life, and you know what, I have a few more years on you. But to say the person is so young, it's starting off with a negative. And I keep saying it, like things like this showcase your mentality and your own mindset. You're only going to further disrespect her. We've gone from being unseen, unheard to now belittling the person in terms of their age. Now, I don't think that comment was in relation to what she just said, but that's so young. It's just like, yo, relax. Like, just enjoy her presence, enjoy her mind, enjoy what she's bringing to the table. You know what I mean? Rather than disrespecting. And that's what it sounded like, a disrespect. I have to be honest with you.
Actually from Puerto Rico. So I understand you much more than you can imagine. But the thing with you is that I feel
Man said you're from Puerto Rico, so I can understand you more than you can imagine. Sir, I need you to stop trying to think that you can know me. I need you to stop thinking that you can already assume that you know about me and what I'm like. Get to know me. The fun in any relationship, or the fun in any getting to know somebody, is getting to know them. It's uncovering the mysteries of that person. That's what's the fun. That's where the fun lies. So why are you robbing yourself of that opportunity, sir? Because you don't care. You don't. That's not the details you care about. He sounds like he's very transactional. He just wants to get down to the crunch of it. Hey, you want some money? I got it. I want some sex. It sounds very much like what Seaway was saying. Fabrice is just like, you want some money? I want some sex. Like, you know what I mean? Let's exchange. That's what it sounds like to me. And so I don't really hear anything of benefit in this moment for Corvaya. And you can see that she's quiet now. Her body language, you can even see her facial expression. She's not really
you're so
enjoying it anymore.
distant that it actually makes me uncomfortable.
Oh my God.
Are you really giving me the whole you?
Why are you?
Now, man's even questioning, are you even giving me the whole of you? What the bar is in hell, and Satan is using it as a pull-up bar, because what the heck? Bro, you haven't even given me a chance to even get to be opening up to you. Like, it's so weird. Like, see, listen, don't get it twisted. Corvaya was coming at Mark Anthony, and I told you how I felt about the situation. I felt like she asked the question a bit wrong, but still, at least there was some openness there. And again, she's been open again. She was starting to be open, telling about how, you know, she wanted a man that wanted the business and to sell it, blah, blah, blah. And then instead of allowing her to actually finish her sentence and her point, you've actually shut her down. So why would she be open? Because it looked like you're just talking over her. It looks like you're just assuming you know who she is. So if you knew who she is, why does she need to be open? Because you already know who she is. You've clocked it, right? You've got the game all on lock, Fabrice, right? So if you do this, you see how problematic this is? So I'm hoping you're watching this. If you're somebody in a relationship, don't be doing this. Don't be assuming you know the other person. And sometimes your assumptions aren't even verbalized. They're in your body language. They're in your facial expressions. Oh, I already know this. I know where they're coming from. I already know. I know where this is going. Like, your facial expressions are giving away that you think you already know this person, and that can be irritating, and that actually shuts up the intimacy between people as well. So look, just be aware. Make sure that's not where you're going to be. Just make sure that's not going to be the space that you're going to be staying in, right? Your energy can be read. So don't think that just because you didn't say it and you see Fabrice saying it, that it's bad. No, Fabrice is a good example of what you're thinking. Don't be you have to also control those thoughts, because they begin to act out as energy, and the person can begin to read that. Your body language, your mannerisms, your facial expressions, they all going to start telling its own story before you. And even the tone, even the word choices that you use, they can tell a whole story in itself. So just be aware of that. But yeah, Fabrice, he didn't do well at all. He assumed he knew who she was. In fact, later on, he called, like, she said to the group that Fabrice said that he felt like she was a daddy's girl. And I think in his head, he doesn't want a daddy's girl. I think in his head, Mark Anthony's conversation got into his mind. I think in his head, he's already prejudged her. In his head, he don't really, because he was making comments earlier on about how when they're cycling, she's a kind of woman that doesn't want to be in the heat, doesn't want to sweat, doesn't want to sweat and make her hair wet. He already had all these assumptions verbalized, mind you. Okay, verbalized. And then to top it off, look what happens.
So sure that you know me better than I know myself, and then tell me that I'm not being open and honest. I'm offended. I'm an open book. But I just try to focus on the moment.
The next part he's about to do, as she's talking, he actually picks up his phone to answer a text. I don't know, whatever he's doing. It just looks so rude. So you pick up your phone just as he's actually saying that she's open. You pick up your phone. Do you know how rude that is? Do you know how disrespectful that is? Disrespectful. I might have changed the title of the video because it's actually disrespectful. Like what he does in that moment. Why would you pick up your phone? Like maybe we'll have to do a whole separate video about this. Like I want people to understand something. When you are sharing a moment with somebody, now picking up your phone to be in it, and to be like, yeah, I'm listening to you. Actually, I'm listening to you, but I just want. No, don't worry. No, I'm listening to you. Yeah, you were saying about what you were saying. Yeah, I get it. So obviously that's what you meant, right? Yeah, of course. No, I know what you meant. Like that's what it is. You know what I mean? So at the end of the day, you gotta do what you gotta do. Do you know what I mean? Yeah. Yeah. How am I going to be in my phone the whole entire time when I'm doing a video on YouTube and I'm meant to be focusing on you? Eye contact is key. And me focusing my energy and being present is also key. Me being in my phone is not helping the situation. It's not actually me showing you that I actually care about what you're actually saying in that moment. That's the problem. Like, share, subscribe, click on that bell button for notification of the uploads. We appreciate you guys. Stay locked and stay loaded. And we're going to see you soon. Let us know below. What did you guys think of Fabrice